We want to give a special shout out to Karen of Karen's Photo Creations for the use of her photos. Again, these are for following along at home, not for resale. Okay, today we're working on brushes, and here is one brush, and here is two brush. And I guess the other brush didn't come all the way in, so we'll just come all the way over and make sure it does this time. Okay, and what we're going to do is V for your picker tool. Come over here. What you're going to do is double click so you unlock the layer from a background to its own layer. Control A, go to edit, define brush, and Firebrush Photography Los Angeles. Well, I'll tell you why the Photography Los Angeles is on my Firebrush on the website. Is that if you're keywording on your website properly, Google searches your photos too, so you can keyword your photos. So there's a big tip of the day for search word optimization. So I've already saved this, so what you would do is click OK. I'm going to choose cancel. While we're here, let's go in and make this into a pattern also. This is a very cool pattern. I would change brush to pattern. P-A-T-T-E-R-N. Don't really need the Photography Los Angeles, but I'm not going to save this one either. So cancel. That's how you make a brush from this image. To go through and repeat again, this is the lightning brush, Photographers LA. We're going to double click that. OK. And Control A to select and go in and define brush, edit, define brush, boom, make your lightning brush. You're going to click OK. I'm clicking cancel. Come in and do the same for the pattern. Bada bada boom. There's the pattern right there, and you would put this into pattern. I've got them both. Okay, so now we've handled how to make a brush from the two images I've supplied you for the photo manipulation. Let's have a little more fun with new patterns, or new brushes from patterns. Okay, or from, yeah, I'm having a terrible moment here. From shapes. Gosh. Okay, so Control N for new. Here we go, and we're going to come into the shape tool. We've already selected the shape we want to use, and we're going to go ahead and just let that be filled with pink. And what I want you to understand is that it's a shade of gray as far as the brush maker is concerned. Okay, we have to change this from a vector image to a rasterized, and I'm just going into rasterize. Now I'm going to make this brush two ways. We're going to make it this way, and we'll come into edit, define brush, and we're going to call this checkered. Pound sign, I don't know what you call it in music, but naming brushes is not my is not my forte. Okay, now I want you to come in and learn a few things about brush making. Now that's too much stroke on there, 21, but by putting this stroke in black around the brush, I want to show you what it does. There's just 1,000 things you can do with that FX button. Okay, right now we're going to go in and define brush, edit, define brush. This will be checkerboard. Hard edge in black. Okay, remember whatever palette you have selected for your brush palette is where your brushes are going to load, and that gets important to know. Okay, so I've already made a pattern out of this, but for just repeating the practice makes perfect. It won't work right now. Notice that this is on its own separate layer, and Control E to make it 1. Now we want to go Control D to deselect, Control A to select the whole image because that's your pattern, and edit, come in and define pattern, and you would call this dark edge, I would call it, whatever you want to call it, pound sign, I don't care. Because I'm not even going to save it, I've already done this. Okay, so now you've go in and hit OK. I'm hitting cancel. Control Alt Z to back up, and take this layer and delete it, and Control D to get rid of it. Go to your brush tool. I'm working off of a Cintiq. Okay, here's our first brush, or second brush. Notice how the black stroking changed the pink, because black is the darkest. It's 100% opaque, no opacity, and the light pink is just the color we had, and that's just a shade of gray, so it's letting some white through. Okay, so now that's one brush. Let's go in and see this brush. You can already see that this brush is going to be much smaller. I mean, much different. It doesn't have that hard edge. So that's just an example. And then our fire brush, of course, we've created that. And you can see I've got a number of those in here saved already. Bam, there's our fire brush. So, very cool way to make brushes and patterns. Let's go in and, well, what we're going to do here is we're going to end at this point. We wanted to cover brush making and different ways we can do shapes and make them into brushes. And I hope you've enjoyed watching the Photon Writer, and stay tuned as we work on the photo manipulation together. Thank you.